Coit, writing in the New York Times, the public editor, talked about why this story hadn't been a story for his paper. Basically, he was saying, we, the highbrow press, are not like that other media. You gave him sort of begrudging kudos for it.
You know, at least he covered it. You know, I had chosen as the worst media, of course, of the week, the fact that the mainstream media, the New York Times, you know, held their nose and looked away from a story that was a story I disagree. I think, you know, if people are talking about it at the water cooler, by definition, that is news. I do think that the Edward story was big news. I think that all of us who follow things in the internet and in alternative media were aware of the story, but people who relied on the New York Times, for example, had no idea that there was this, you know, very powerful story that had been percolating literally for months. And I think that's a big and continual failing of the mainstream media. If they don't like the provenance of the news, then they pretend it's not news. Well, so guess what? It was.
I think the thing that was important about the story was that when it came to light, he was actually still running to be the President of the United States of America. And that a point that Rory made earlier, there was a question mark as to whether Elizabeth Edwards had chosen to remain quiet, whether that was about protecting the possibility of him continuing to run in that race, or whether it was really about the private marital affair between a husband and wife. And I think that is important because his platform is about integrity and is about maintaining a particular stance to the American people. And in the nature of when the story broke, he fell foul of that. So in that sense, I think it's politically relevant. I think then all the details, all the discussion about the detail, that does become peripheral and that does become tittle-tattle. But when it broke, I think that had a legitimacy that was worth reporting.